Hi, my name is Jonathan Perez. I'm here to present the Boeing concept aircrafts by myself, Julian Sellan, and Maria Betancourt. The aircraft I'll be explaining today is the Phantom Eye. The Phantom Eye is a concept aircraft that autonomously operates by use of a liquid hydrogen propulsion system. It was developed by Phantom Works in 2010. Its predecessor was the Boeing Condor, developed in the late 1980s. It's been under development since 2010, and since then has completed 6 successful flight tests. Who is Phantom Works? Phantom Works is a prototyping division of the Boeing company dedicated to national security and national defense and security. It combines state-of-the-art technologies with innovative concepts to develop a one-of-a-kind product. The division consists of 5 business components, and those are advanced Boeing military aircrafts, advanced network and space systems, advanced services, strategic development and experimentation, and ventures and special pursuit cell. A little bit of history about the Phantom Eye. The Boeing Condor was developed in the 1980s. It was the first HALE UAV, which stands for High Altitude Long Endurance Unmanned Aerial Vehicle. It set a record for the highest altitude by a piston-powered aircraft in 1989, reaching a record of 66,980 feet. The aircraft has a wingspan of 200 feet, but unfortunately, due to the lack of stealth, slow speed, and large size, it caused high military vulnerability, which led to its discontinuation. The civilian sector also sought to use it for atmospheric and weather research, but due to how expensive it was still discontinued because nobody could buy it. Here's some facts and characteristics about the Boeing Condor. One important thing that you can notice is how the gross weight. It was 20,300 pounds. It's almost twice as heavy as the new Phantom Eye, which is a great improvement since the 1980s. The Phantom Eye is designed under HALE specifications, so it is a high altitude long endurance vehicle, and it operates under ISR and communications, which stands for intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance. It has a liquid hydrogen propulsion system, which are 2 liquid hydrogen powered internal combustion engines with byproducts of water. The engines were designed by Ford Motor Company, originally designed for use in some models of petrol burning Ford Fusion vehicles, and it also was able to reach 150 miles per hour at sea level. Here's a timeline of some of the completion dates for the actual aircraft since it's been under development. On March 1st, 2010, it completed its first 80-hour altitude chamber test, which allowed for the assembly of the propulsion system and the UAV. In 2012, March 10th, it completed its first taxi test, and on June 1st, it had its maiden flight, it had an altitude of 4,080 feet and a velocity of 62 knots. So on April 2013, it completed its 3rd flight test, which happened to have its greatest milestone with a 2-hour and 13-minute flight time, reaching an altitude of 10,000 feet. It was also able to display its environmental cleanliness of its propulsion system with water as a byproduct. And then its 5th flight test on September 14th, it had its highest altitude of 28,000 feet. On its 6th flight test in December 13th of 2013, it had its longest flight time of 5.5 hours. And finally, for the most recent news, on 2014, it was promoted to experimental status by our Air Force under recommendation from NASA's Dryden Flight Research Center. Here are some specifications about the Phantom Eye. As you can see, the gross weight is about half of it was from the Condor. There's a proof about how much we've excelled in our technology over the time. It also has a turbocharger system for the engine to deal with low amounts of oxygen at the high altitudes that it reaches. It has 2 fuel tanks, and it also has an unusual landing system. Due to the first flight test, the landing system malfunctioned and they had an issue with it, so they took it off. Now what it does is it lands and it comes to a stop and actually rests on its wingtip. It's able to carry a load of 450 pounds at 65,000 feet for 4 days. The HALE concept has been developed by Boeing. It's a growing concept across the globe. It's for high altitude, long endurance aerial vehicles, and there's two current developments for it. The Phantom Eye and the Solar Eagle. The Solar Eagle is a solar electronic powered autonomous vehicle, and right now the concept is set to have a 5-year flight time at 60,000 feet. And that's a picture of it right there. So some recommendations of my own are to make the Phantom Eye STOVL aircraft, which stands for Short Takeoff and Vertical Landing. It can be seen in a Lockheed Martin's F-35 Lightning II fighter jet. And another thing would be to increase its visual signature stealth. That can be done by some fiber mat material or RAM, which stands for radar absorbing material. And one in specific is the split ring resonator absorber. What it does, it produces desired magnetic responses in many types of metal materials up to 200 terahertz, providing excellent effectiveness for stealth.
Hi, my name is Betancourt. I'm going to talk about SUGAR, which is a concept plane for Boeing. SUGAR stands for Subsonic Ultra Green Aircraft Research. What is it about? It's a contract that NASA gave to Boeing, and they signed it in 2008. It should be done, all the research, between 2030 and 2050. They are looking to produce efficient, quieter, and cleaner flights, as well as reducing fuel consumption by 75%. Who's working on this research project? Boeing, NASA, General Electric, and Georgia Tech are all working together for the research on the new. Okay, the goals for SUGAR project is to, well, there are many of them, but one, it's to reduce fuel burn, also greenhouse gases, and nitrogen emission. And they are also trying to improve advanced configuration, which is like the modeling of the aircraft, and technology, as well as reducing noise. During the first phase of SUGAR, they considered 5 different engine designs. They ended up using the H-fan, which is a gas turbine electric hybrid engine, which is capable of running in all electric, all gas, or you can combine electric and gas usage. They also compared 5 different airplanes, and the one that won was the SUGAR Volt, because this is the one that uses the H-fan engine. So here's the winner. The important specifications about this model was that it has model batteries, which could go under the center line of the configuration or under the wing pods. As I already said, it has a hybrid turbine gas electric system, also a high wing airplane. Gross weight, it's around 140,000 pounds. During the engine discussion, they considered the E-fan, the engine discussion for this SUGAR Volt. They considered the E-fan, which is an all-electric propulsor, the F-fan, which is the gas turbine fuel cell hybrid, and the H-fan. So in conclusion, after studying the SUGAR Volt for 6 months, the turbofan electric hybrid engine showed 90% reduced fuel usage by increasing the electric usage, which also allowed the carbon dioxide emission levels to go down, as well as the nitrogen emission. Also, the maximum takeoff weight was reduced to 5,000 feet by adding electric usage for the takeoff. And when it came to noise reduction, there was no significant result in that, so that will be a challenge for phase 2. Thank you. The latest research under SUGAR is a liquefied natural gas, which promises reduction of fuel burn. So that's it for Sugar, which is an environmental friendly project.
My name is Julian, and today we'll be discussing the Boeing X-48. The Boeing X-48 is an experimental UAV, which is an unmanned aerial vehicle, and Boeing has teamed up with NASA in order to do research on the blended wing body design. The blended wing body is essentially exactly what it states. The wings are blended into the body. This differs from your traditional circular fuselage, where the wings are kind of built on top of the body here. As you can see over here, it's almost one uniform piece. The benefits of the blended wing body is that it's much lighter than your traditional fuselage, and because of this, it uses about a quarter less fuel than a regular plane. There are several models of the X-48. The first one I'm going to talk about is the X-48B. So basically, the X-48B is a 8.5% scale model of the original, which was the X-48A, but the X-48A was canceled prior to manufacture because it was too big. The X-48B has a 21-foot wingspan, and X-48B was test flown 192 times, and from this, Boeing observed that it can reach speeds of up to 136 miles per hour and can reach an altitude of 10,000 feet. Okay, so here's a video of the X-48B on one of its first test flights. Originally, there were two X-48B models that were created, but the second of the two was created into the X-48C. The X-48C is very similar in design to the X-48B, however, this one has two engines instead of three. They did this because they wanted to eliminate some of the noise pollution that the X-48C was making compared to the X-48B. The X-48C is more or less the same miles per hour, reaches 140, and can get to the same altitude as the X-48B. And here's a video of the X-48C being tested in a wind tunnel. As you can see, it's showing how aerodynamic it is with the wind flowing across the back. Okay, so the blended wing body design could be used in the future on some passenger planes, because as of right now they use the traditional circular fuselage, and if they were able to incorporate the blended wing body into passenger planes, they could save money on gas and also manufacturing of the planes because they weigh less. And that'll wrap things up. Thank you, class, for listening to our presentation. Hope you found some of the information useful.